I'm going to make some worm tea, and you saw me yesterday harvest my worm compost. There are no worms in here. I've sifted this through and it's just all the castings from the worm compost. Now when I see people make worm tea on socials, I usually see them, they have like a wormery and they've been putting all their scraps in, and then they're collecting the juice from the bottom and calling that worm tea. Now if you saw my part one, you'll know that that is not worm tea. That's basically all the vegetable material rotting down and making the fertilizer that I made in the very first video with the bokashi. So when we get to the second stage, which is a wormery, we want that bokashi to be fairly dry so you don't get the runoff. So now you have this really nice crumbly texture compost. So I have one of this is very well used, fine mesh bags, and I'm literally going to make myself a giant compost tea bag by putting in all the compost into the bag. And this has been through the worms' tummies, so it's got loads of good microbiology in there, lots of nutrients from the worms. And also, if you saw, I put leaves from around the garden into my wormery as well, so it also has all the microbiology and good bacteria from the leaves as well. So I've got my bag. I'm just going to pop it in a box here, and I'm going to add rainwater. So let's pour that in. And basically I'm just making a giant cup of tea, but for plants. So if I just put this in here, you can already see that the microbiology is coming out through the fine net. You can see it's changed colour already. So I'm just going to leave this in here for about 30 minutes. Even if I squeeze it now, you can see all that good stuff coming out the compost, and that is what worm tea is. So I'm going to leave it in there for 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes later and this has been brewing, and if you can come in and have a look in here, you can see that it is a lot darker and a lot thicker. So I'm just going to get my composty tea bag out, squeeze that off and get any of those extra nutrients out. I'm just going to leave that in my soil for now. Right, so now what we can do is we can use this. I'm going to put some of this worm tea, because it's got lots of nutrition in here, into my soaker, and then as I put my plants in, they're going to suck all those nutrients up from the bottom and go straight into the baby seedlings, making them super healthy. Of course you can add it to individual plants if you want to, and this is really great for house plants, so that's another way you can use it. So I can use this one of three ways. So I've got some in a spray bottle here, so I've got a bit in there, but I'm just going to top it up to dilute it down. Finally, you can use the spray bottle that we used just to give your plants a light misting. But what I will say is a word of caution here: don't do it when the sun is on the plants, because the sun will magnify through the water and burn your plants. So always do it at evening. And in fact, the plants in the evening benefit from a spray of this because all the stomates open up and it is easier for them to take in the nutrients from the worm tea in the evening through their leaves than through the soil. It takes a lot longer to digest the nutrients through the soil and take it into the plant that way. So an evening misting across your greenhouse is always the best way to go. So I hope you can see how you can turn your household waste into gold by taking it through a bokashi system and then through a wormery, and then making your own homemade tea to help benefit your soil and plants with good bacteria and microbiology, helping them to fight off disease and be strong and healthy and produce lots of flowers. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.